Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sam's Doing Stuff. What am I doing today? Well, hopefully by the end of this video, this is going to look a whole lot different. But first, I want to take you back a couple of days. Let's rewind. I know everybody's different, but sometimes in a project, I just need to stop and clean up. So what we have here is just a bunch of rotted old railroad ties, the ones that didn't make the cut. And then I've got some logs here that I need to cut up into firewood. Got my plywood here. Just an absolute disaster of stuff that just needs picked up, and it's everywhere. But we're gonna start with this, get the pallet forks on the tractor and get this out of the way. Oh, we got a milk snake. Yeah, you see him? You gotta come out. Come on, you gotta come out. Oh, there you go, now you're going down to the ground. That's where I want you. There he is. Yeah, that's a milk snake. Totally harmless, great for killing rodents. All right, we're gonna have to put you over here for now. Go on. Off you go, somewhere else. Yeah, I know you want a sun, but you can't hang out in here, you're gonna get hurt. And have a look over here. Another big one. That guy's a rat snake, I'm pretty sure. Also harmless. Is he asleep? Not moving at all. Even with this close to him. Wow. Huh. Let's see if he moves. He might be asleep. Oh yeah, he's awake now. There we go. Yes, Dad, I know you're watching. I'm putting these creosote-filled old railroad ties on the burn pile. You're not going to burn them in your chimney. And Mom, you're welcome. Oh, that's heavy. That's heavy. Heavier than I thought it was. Holy cow. Okay, let's get some scrap metal now. I've been throwing this stuff off to the side, and I know I should have been doing this all along, but I haven't, so now it's just in piles, so I gotta clean it up. And my brother is going to take all of this to the scrap yard. I don't care to deal with that. I don't mind him taking it and making a couple bucks. That's fine. He can deal with it. Now what about this mess? No, 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 no! And maybe just lift the whole thing? It's not terrible. Not terrible. Not too shabby. All right, so I got everything cleaned up, right? And you guys saw I was working on the excavator, and I want to explain. You can probably see the cut on my forehead. This little video clip here will explain it. More. Oh, that probably made a cut. I cut my head. Yeah, when I was gluing the window on the excavator, I had those clamps on the window, and I stood up and I gouged my head on one of those clamps. Oh, sorry for the bleep, but hey, we're all human. Anyway, so here's what we're doing today. We're going to show you some video here. This is what it looks like in this creek. It's working wonderfully. This is what the creek looks like on a typical rain. This is just what I would consider to be a moderate rain. It wasn't just a drizzle, it was a good solid rain, but moderate, you know, nothing life-changing. And you can see that the creek flows wonderfully. It's doing its job. It's keeping the ground, the surrounding ground around it dry, and boy is it flowing, and the drain is just taking all the water. And what that drain does, so everybody knows, that drain takes the water, what would be surface water, and it funnels it or channels it underground, and keeps the farmers' fields from flooding. So now let's talk about a major rain event. So the day before Mother's Day, this is the Saturday before Mother's Day, and I'm sorry I don't have any video of the rain because we were all huddled down in the basement watching where the tornadoes were coming. Yeah, we had tornadoes, we had hail, and we had rain. Now let's go up by the street. This is what it looked like for the water coming under the road. This is the culvert. This is my side of the road where the culvert is, and you can just see the torrent of water bubbling through that culvert. That is a culmination of what we'll call community runoff from across the street and just miles and miles around. And boy, does it feed my creek. And my creek did a great job. It handled the water, and you can even see right here now, this is a nice gentle flow of what's coming through that culvert over there. And yeah, it just flows down the creek like it's supposed to. Let's talk about the land bridge. The motivation for this land bridge was really just for convenience, to give me access from my northwest field up to the North Ridge. I thought it'd be really nice use of all of that culvert that I'm pulling out, and it's working just fine. When I fill this in, it'll be nice. It'll be very convenient, but it does something else. It provides an initial point of detention. This is my first point of water detention, and as you can see in this video, this is the big rain. It worked great, even as it is right now. There's more to be done, but water is flowing through it, and it's a first choke point. It really is a good thing for the flow of water to stop here, or at least for that community runoff to have a place to slow down. Now let's go beyond it. So of course, like I said, the creek does its job. It flows very well, and it snakes along past the barn. And then we get to this point right here. This is the drain. This is the drain, the culvert that goes underground all the way out under the farmers' fields. Now, where it leaves my property is not my problem anymore. This used to be a full 100-acre farm, and my property was part of that. Now the fields are leased to a farmer, and we own this 7 acres of it. This was done who knows how many years ago, and this was their solution to not flood the fields. So here's the problem. This is our second point of detention, and it is not adequate enough to handle a large rain event like that. So this pipe gets overwhelmed and things begin to flood. And now you're looking, of course, at the example of where that pipe was overwhelmed and the waters began to flood and overflow over the top of the ground out into the farmers' fields. Now, of course, this will show you the extent of how much flooding occurred over the fields. And I want to make a very important note here that this isn't all because of me. This is not entirely because of my property and where the runoff comes from my property. Look at the sources. There are 3 sources I see. I see a little tiny trickle really from our property, and I see a very large river coming from a wooded area, and then another small stream coming from the farmer's field up there on the North Ridge. So it's not all me, okay? But I want to be a good neighbor, and I want to try and solve whatever issues are coming from my property, and it will also protect my property. I don't want my land to flood, and I certainly don't want my barn to flood. Now, I will show you inside the barn. It really was dry. It never got high enough to go inside the barn, so I was lucky, but I still don't want that to happen. We need to try and prevent that. So what I'm going to do, you cannot, now I'm not a hydrogeologist, I'm not a hydrologist, but I'm smart enough to understand that, you know, it's going to flood. The only thing you can do is change where it floods. Really, you can't stop Mother Nature. So instead of it flooding down here right next to the barn, and I cannot move this pipe. I've had people ask me, why don't you just, you know, make it go away from the barns? I can't do that. That would be, I mean, I can't dig up the farmer's fields, first of all. And this is where that pipe leads. This is where it is. I'd have to completely excavate the entire drainage system all the way through the fields. It would be, yeah. Anyway, so this is where it is. So we have to deal with it the way it is. Anyway, so what I want to do is I want to change where it floods. The only way I can think of to do that effectively is to create a detention pond upstream. Now this is where all the cattails and everything are, and I had talked about making a pond here. So a pond, of course, would hold water, and it would be at a certain level, and then you'd have a standpipe or some kind of a spillway or drain, and whatever overflow occurred would go down that pipe or over the spillway. Well, that's all well and good unless you get a huge rain like we had. The pond is already full, so there's nowhere for that water to go. It's still going to flood beyond the pond. So what I want to do, a detention pond or a dry pond, is an area of land that's a bowl, a dry bowl, and then there's a culvert at the bottom, a drain, if you will, at the bottom, and that will lead then to where the drain is beside the barn where we just were. So if I excavate all of this, yes, I know, if I dig all of this out and leave it mowable and dry on dry days, and put a drain with a catch basin at the mouth, with you know, a proper creek, probably filled with some riprap or something to filter out the silt and stuff. Then when we get a huge rain event, that dry pond or detention pond will fill with water, and when the mouth of the pipe, the drain, gets overwhelmed, because we already know it will get overwhelmed, this area will fill with water, and the pipe will become the choke point, and it will determine how much water can flow beyond it. It slows it down, and then once the rain stops, the whole pond will drain over 24 hours or more, and I'll have a field again. That's the plan. And that, my friends, catches us up to today. So, what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to try and get in the machine, and we're going to try and get some work done. First thing I need to do, of course, I shot a bunch of grease in this in these tracks. Didn't realize it was the track tensioner. I got to get this thing up off its tracks and make sure that I didn't over tension the tracks. So you're supposed to have about a ½ inch of play, and you'll be able to stick your finger under there. It's pretty good. It's not bad. Those things probably need tightened up anyway. Check the other side here. It's actually, it could use a little more. Now I got to tell you, the sense of urgency for getting that dry pond dredged, and I would have to dredge it if I were going to put an actual pond, you know, like wet pond in there. It's not that high. The urgency is not that great, because we don't get rains like that all the time. Knock on wood, I'm probably jinxing myself. So once again, thank you, comment section. Somebody suggested I should put, you know, fabric, the weed block, whatever, over top of this to kind of cover up the cracks. It would help prevent dirt from getting down in there, and that's a darn good idea. That's enough rock for this section. Now all I need is dirt. Where am I going to find dirt? Well, there you go. It might just look like a big old pile of mud and rocks. It kind of is. But It's a functional pile of mud and rocks. This is going to create the first area of detention for all of the community runoff, and it works great. And you saw I drove the excavator over it. I mean, it's muddy right now, but I could walk over it, so, you know, this will dry out. It'll be fine. I got one other thing. And I'm saying this because this is entirely because I've been fortunate enough to use both of these machines at the same time. It is amazing, and one of them does not replace the other, okay? If you have a compact tractor and you're thinking, well, I might want to get an excavator and replace my tractor, don't replace the tractor. I have used this tractor more working with the excavator than I do by itself. It is invaluable, and I just need another operator. 2 people working at the same time. Anyway, if you can't tell, I am super happy at the progress I made, and I'll tell you what, I've got a plan in my head now. I think I'm gonna work this out. Bottom line is, you know, whatever I do with water on my property is my business. Once water leaves my property, it's not my fault and it's not my problem. But I wanna be a good neighbor, and I don't want to contribute to flooding the farmers' fields. I'm not the only area that floods out there or that contributes to the flooding, but I want to be a good neighbor. I want to do the best I can. So I hope you like what you saw today. Give me a thumbs up, and hey, keep hitting those subscribe buttons if you're a new viewer. I will see you next time when I'm doing more stuff. See you then.